The Harrison family's vast estate stretched across 30 immaculate acres, every inch groomed to perfection. Its stately Georgian architecture stood as a proud symbol of generational wealth and even older arrogance. When I drove up in my intentionally modest Honda, the valet's smirk said it all. He was clearly expecting another gleaming luxury car to arrive for my father's annual birthday gala. The servant's entrance is around back, he informed me, his tone dripping with disdain as his eyes swept over my simple black dress. How appropriate, I answered, handing him the keys. If he noticed the subtle custom work under the hood, the kind that made this Honda worth more than his yearly paycheck, he didn't show it. Inside, the grand foyer was already buzzing. Aunt Jane held her usual court there, commanding the staff like royalty at a coronation. "Emily, darling," she trilled, her diamonds catching the chandelier's light. "We've arranged for you to stay in the old maid's quarters. Considering your situation, we thought it would be more suitable than the guest wing." My phone buzzed in my hand. Asian markets closing. Harrison Financial Group acquisition finalized. Total assets surpassing $3.7 billion. How thoughtful, I murmured, watching as the staff carried designer luggage toward the grand suites reserved for my more accomplished relatives. My own worn Samsonite cases, strategically scuffed but hiding handcrafted Italian leather, sat quietly by the servants' staircase. "Your cousin Victoria just made partner at Goldman Sachs," Aunt Jane continued, her tone equal parts pride and judgment as she examined my outfit. "And you're still, what was it again? Banking compliance." If only she knew that banking compliance now meant I managed more capital than Goldman's entire Pacific division, including Victoria's precious partnership. "Something like that," I replied smoothly, glancing at another alert. "European merger confirmed. Harrison Financial now controls 60% of Swiss banking sector." Mom appeared at the top of the grand staircase, Cartier jewels glittering at her throat. "Emily, sweetheart," she sighed. "Couldn't you have worn something a bit more appropriate? The photographers will be arriving soon." "Don't worry," I said lightly, thinking about the media conglomerate I'd quietly purchased last month. "I'm sure they'll highlight the family's achievements." Speaking of achievements, Victoria's voice floated down as she descended, perfectly poised in Chanel. "Did you ever get that promotion at the compliance office? Junior analyst, wasn't it?" Another notification lit up my screen. "Breaking news. Mystery banking magnate acquires major European institutions." "Still working on it," I answered mildly, as another alert followed. "Final paperwork complete. Harrison Financial Group now the largest private banking entity in Asia." The grand hall filled with relatives, each parading their success like medals. Cousin Marcus, tailored in his bespoke suit, boasted about a hedge fund acquisition. In reality, the small bank he claimed to have bought had passed through 3 shell companies, quadrupling its price. His pride as inflated as his narrative. "Emily," Uncle Charles bellowed, champagne in hand, "still living in that studio apartment? My cleaning lady's daughter is looking for a roommate." I simply smiled. The truth? That studio hid half of Manhattan's premium real estate portfolio, all under layers of corporate veils. And the building where Uncle Charles's prized penthouse sat? Let's just say its ownership was quietly undergoing a subtle shift. Aunt Jane leaned toward Mom, stage whispering, the maid's quarters seemed perfect for her. She's practically a bank servant herself. My phone buzzed again. Urgent. Swiss National Bank requests meeting with Harrison Group CEO regarding European market consolidation. From the library, Dad's voice boomed, echoing over the polished marble floors. The banking industry is built on relationships, on legacy. Legacy indeed. Offshore accounts where I'd quietly amassed wealth beyond the family's collective fortune. Or the digital banking network I'd built while everyone assumed I was finding myself in compliance. Victoria, her tone innocent but sharp, leaned in. "Did you at least bring a gift?" she asked, eyeing my modest bag. Inside, ownership papers granting control of the world's most exclusive private banking network. "Just something small," I murmured, checking another alert. Asian markets responding to Harrison Group expansion. Traditional banking stocks in freefall. A hesitant butler approached. "Miss Emily, there appears to be some confusion. A bank manager insists on speaking with you regarding a rather large transfer." "Oh, Overdraft issues again, dear. Aunt Jane smirked. Moments later, the bank manager burst in, cheeks flushed. Miss Harrison, the $3.7 billion transfer you requested is complete. The European acquisition finalized. Victoria's crystal flute slipped from manicured fingers, shattering against the imported marble floor. Billion, Mom whispered, her Cartier necklace suddenly looking modest. I turned to the manager, letting my calm facade slip just slightly. Thank you, James. Ensure the Swiss directors receive their updated contracts. And remind the Asian board, tomorrow's meeting will be on my private jet. The Grand Hall fell silent, except for the soft ping of incoming alerts from dozens of phones. The headlines began to break. Mystery banking mogul revealed. Harrison Financial Group emerges as global power. European banking sector transformed overnight by unknown billionaire. Traditional banking giants face new reality as Harrison empire expands. And the maid's quarters? I said, smiling at Aunt Jane. Her confident smirk had vanished entirely. I actually own this estate, I revealed. Purchased last week through one of my shell companies. The servants' wing is now my private banking command center. Helicopters' blades whirred in the distance. Through the Victorian windows, 3 sleek aircraft bearing the Harrison Financial logo descended onto the back lawn. Your jets are ready, Miss Harrison, my assistant announced, stepping from the shadows, previously disguised as a server. The Asian board awaits your arrival in Singapore. Victoria's lips trembled. But your compliance job, it was just a cover. I smiled, revealing the Alexander McQueen beneath my simple black dress, and watching you brag about your Goldman partnership, while I quietly acquired your division, priceless. Mom sank into an antique chair, dazed. But the studio apartment, I shrugged, watching another news alert cascade across phones. That studio housed the world's most advanced financial AI system, powered by billion-dollar servers hidden under a modest facade. Uncle Charles frantically called his investment manager, but it was too late. His portfolio had already been quietly absorbed into my empire. Even the cleaning lady's daughter, the roommate, now ran my European cryptocurrency division. Brilliant mind. A shame no one noticed. Dad emerged from the library, face ashen. Emily, what have you done? Created the future of banking, I said calmly, watching breaking news ripple through global networks. Harrison Financial Group revolutionizes global banking. Traditional banks face extinction. Mystery billionaire's AI system transforms entire financial sector. Aunt Jane clutched her pearls. All those times you borrowed money for work clothes were actually buying out your banking investments through shell companies, I confirmed. Thanks for selling at such a discount. Helicopters downdraft scattered financial papers across the lawn, revealing the full scope of my empire. Traditional banks were now subsidiaries. Investment firms folded into my AI network. Centuries of banking tradition transformed overnight. Victoria's voice trembled. The yacht fund all our contributions. I checked market updates. In my private account, naturally. And yes, I tried to warn everyone at last Christmas about traditional banking. But you were too busy celebrating your promotions. Alerts continued to pour in. Asian markets respond to Harrison takeover. European banking sector under new control. Global financial system faces historic transformation. Miss Harrison, my assistant interrupted. The Federal Reserve Chairman is on line 1, ECB President on line 2, and your family's private banker is having a full-blown panic attack on line 3. I glanced at my Pec Philippe, disguised beneath a cheap Timex. You might want to call everyone's wealth managers except Grandma Ruth. She listened when I suggested moving her assets last spring. At 92, Grandma Ruth sat contentedly in her wheelchair, knitting, and quietly became the family's second wealthiest member. The same grandmother everyone mocked for falling for Emily's internet banking nonsense. Victoria pressed on, voice shaking. But the compliance office. I activated my holographic displays. That tiny cubicle? A quantum encrypted trading floor, disguised as compliance. Those spreadsheets you saw. Algorithms now controlling global currency markets. The estate security system, upgraded by my team, activated protocols. Reporters gathered at the gates as the Harrison Financial logo illuminated across the mansion. Sir, my chief of security here, I added. The G7 financial ministers are requesting an emergency meeting, and Miss Victoria's Goldman team wants answers about their recent acquisition. Victoria collapsed into a chair. Chanel crumpled. Acquisition. I smiled, pulling up more data. Yes, Harrison Financial acquired controlling interest in Goldman's Asian operations this morning. Your new employee handbook is in your inbox. Uncle Charles froze. Employee handbook? Most of the family will be offered positions in the new organization, I said casually, though perhaps not at their current salaries. Mom's Cartier necklace caught the light. But all those budget dinners, the clearance sales, all market research, I explained. Every financial struggle you mocked was part of building the world's most sophisticated banking empire. Those coupons, prototype digital currencies now worth billions. The helicopters spun up. Departure for Singapore was imminent. But before leaving, I had one final revelation. The maid's quarters, I told Aunt Jane, are the entrance to my primary quantum computing facility. Those shabby rooms hide more computing power than all of Wall Street combined. The grand dining room, set for Dad's birthday, now resembled a war room. My family frantically monitored portfolios, called advisors, and watched as their legacy crumbled.